Good afternoon, Patriots. How is everybody doing today? Looks like we got a new Q post during our intro here. But let's first bring on Shady Groove. Shady, it is Cinco de Mayo, a.k.a. 5-5 Day, and I believe we have a very special guest. But Shady, why don't you get on in here?
5-5 Day.
Yeah, it's 5-5 Day.
I love 5-5 Day.
Heck yeah. I mean, every day is 5-5 Day over here.
Popcorn, it's always 5-5 Day, and it's great to be here. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We have a very, very special guest who is going to go through some of the Q posts with us, maybe chat with you a little bit, and that is our future Oregon Senator, Joe Ray Perkins. Thanks for coming and joining us again, Joe Ray. How are you doing today, this morning?
I am fabulous. Good morning, everybody. It is an honor to be here with you today.
Yes, and this is, I mean, can you imagine, guys out there in Red Pill land, the most red pilled audience in YouTube? We're going to go over Q posts with a future senator. Could you imagine if Joe Biden was sitting here with us? I'm kidding. I mean, he wouldn't make sense of anything, but how amazing that somebody believes in such freedom of speech, freedom. Joe Ray, I just want to tell you how honored I am, seriously, to have you here, because you're going to win.
Thank you.
You're going to win.
It's an honor. It's an honor to me. I'm just still so blown away. Yeah.
You're going to win. And guys, I'm going to drop the future senator of Oregon right here. And if you guys could give her $1, $2, $17. We don't want any donations today from the show because they're all going to Joe Ray today, because she doesn't have the deep state pockets, folks. Okay. Nope. She needs our help. And there's a lot of, other people around this country that are true patriots like Joe Ray that need our help, whether we live in Oregon or not, guys. You can't do overseas. That's it. But anybody here in the US of A, America, please, if you could just do $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, 17 would be. She's got one set up for 17 on her site too. So that's honoring us, guys, in my opinion. But Joe Ray, thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. So do you want to really kick it off today? Have you looked at the Q posts at all?
Today? I guess I better pull them up on my screen, huh?
Well, I'll get them for you too, because I just want to. You're on the screen right now.
I didn't look at today's. I was up till I don't know. I went to bed I think at 3:00 this morning. I think I turned off my computer almost at 4.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Yeah. And I was going. I need to get caught up on all the Q posts here.
Well, I'd just like to say that for everybody out there, Joe Ray is working so hard and making so many appointments, in speaking to so many different people, and we're dealing with this debacle of a shutdown in Oregon right now. And so kudos to you for all of the contacts and for all of the events that you've been able to make and people you've been able to speak with. I know that Oregon has gone a little bit crazy, and they're telling us that we're not going to open back up till sometime in the middle of July, and there's quite a bit of pushback up there in Salem, isn't there?
Yeah, it's just insanity. But I did hear this morning that she's going to let part of most likely Eastern Oregon open up where they haven't had any known incidences of COVID-19 out there. So hey, I'll tell you, and I know this is going to sound really selfish, so sorry guys, but Bob Dylan is scheduled to be in Oregon in June, and George and I have tickets, 5th row tickets on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Guess what's going to probably get canceled?
The concert.
The concert.
Because of a fake virus. Well, not fake. It really is a flu. I mean, it is a flu. The numbers are fake. Fauci donated to Wuhan. He knew about hydroxychloroquine in 2005. Yeah. They stopped using it in 2007 here in the States. It's only, people are starting to wake up, guys. And, this mask thing, will you follow the narrative? Are they getting us ready to cover our faces?
Well, they're basically convincing people to cover their faces.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In my opinion, to me, it's like a muzzle. Like you're not going to make me afraid of other Americans, and they're driving this narrative to try to drive more division between us, so that they can have people with masks yelling at people without masks, or people not adhering to governor's mandates as opposed to our own freedom and liberty.
That's right.
So I have a question.
Yes.
If the ladies decide to start wearing hijabs, full cover hijabs, will we get accused of not wearing a mask?
I think that will be sufficient because remember, you can wear a scarf.
Yeah.
Or,
Is that what they're training us for? I mean, these are just questions, guys.
Just crazy thoughts.
Now, this is one that we didn't go over yesterday. It was QPost 4104 at 1658. Here is the graphic right here. Let me just kind of blow it up just so you can kind of see. More deaths, no benefit from malaria drug in VA virus study. Looks like talking points to me here. This is the battle against hydroxychloroquine, which has happened for centuries, folks. This battle against this drug has happened for centuries, and it works, guys.
Yep, they've used it as a way to control the population on the planet. To be honest with you, I mean, this is related back to the Spanish flu, goes back even to the plague in Europe, that they had this and withheld it from the people as a way to cull the masses.
Yes, Spain wanted to use it, and they were fighting with Germany to get it, and it didn't happen, and that was in 1917, folks, 1900s. And, you know, this works, guys, and it is biblical because it comes from a tree that is mentioned in the Bible. Pretty amazing. And then Shady did the dig on the, what do they call it, the Jesuit powder or Jesuit bark?
Well, yeah, both. They refer to it as both, but it's kind of like hidden under the headline Jesuit powder, and you can do a little search on your own and find out a lot of information about them figuring out that this would cure people in the 1600s, you know. And so this is also, you know, we see this with the malaria aspect of this, as malaria being the easiest form of viral infection to use to weaponize for the deep state. The deep state has been working with weaponizing malaria for 100 years now. And I think that they kind of pulled this out of their hat a little on the fly, because it certainly didn't turn out to be as productive of a pandemic as, you know, I mean, we've seen CDC or WHO people now saying that, oh, we didn't infect enough people.
Right. I saw that. You had a video on that, I think, Shady.
Yeah, it's like, so.
Wait, what? So, you know,
not infected.
Here we go with these talking points, Shady, from this Q post right here, saying it's not effective, but in actuality, it is. And Fauci knew about this HCQ in 2005. Nobody needed to die, folks. How does that make you feel out there? Pretty crazy, right?
I think that this is exactly what Q has been talking about whenever he was saying we're going to get louder, because we know that, you know, we can get on the right and the left of a lot of issues, but whenever it comes to our family members and friends being withheld for something that might help them, I think that we can all meet in the middle on this.
That's right. That's right. And we got governors saying that you can't take it. What? Are they doctors? Yeah. The governors are saying, oh, we're going to, you know, remember the New York governor said we're not going to allow you guys to prescribe HCQ.
And they're also telling people in nursing homes that are getting sick or stuff, they're saying that you can't take it unless you are in the hospital.
Right.
So they can't like prescribe it for you to take anywhere else. I mean, it is a little bit absurd how far they're going. And now I think we're testing the whole movement that we have. How loud Q says. Are you ready to stand up? Are we ready to stand up, Anons? Are you ready to stand up and say, hey, why is this going on? And we've gotten the one doctor that put the post out the other day that got Q'd, who was talking about his 30 patients in Ohio.
Yes.
He was reporting this morning that they've completely deboosted him. Like, he's not getting any interaction on Twitter now.
Well, we're going to talk about that too in a few minutes here too as well.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And, you know, we've been demonetized for asking questions, Shady. And we've been demonetized for them protecting a false narrative when our narrative is true. How does that make you feel? Right? Where are we living, guys? What is going on? And that's why I've got a couple of ideas that I will share with you here in the next few posts. But I want to just point out in this article, this is what really got me. This may be the chloroquine. This may be why. The chloroquine is a relatively safe, effective, and cheap drug. 10 cents a dose, roughly. Used for treating many human diseases, it is effective in inhibiting the infection and spread of SARS, CoV. That's the problem. It's safe, inexpensive, and it works. In other words, there's nothing sexy or avant-garde about HCQ, and it's been around since 1934. But I want to go over here, and this is the real issue right here. There will be no Fauci vaccine if HCQ is the answer to the problem. So if all you anti-vaxxers are serious, it's time to get serious. How about that?
And isn't that really interesting how that, we're meeting at a point where the left and the right, the left and the right have vaccine trust issues, right? It's one of the things that really does unite both sides to say, wait, listen, they are just giving this stuff away in pharmacies when you go in there to get flu shots. And we do know that 80 to 90% of the flu shots come from China. Do you trust that? Do you honestly trust that? Can you say, okay, good, here, just inject me with whatever you have? And, and I would like to also just add to this conversation that, they're trying to conflate the issue here and trying to make it say, if you don't like to take this vaccine, that you're anti-vaccine and da-da-da. There is science to the idea of vaccines going back 100 years. There's legitimate science that shows that these things can work and be effective. They've utilized this as a delivery tool for God knows what, for God knows how long. In other words, you can't trust what it is that's actually in it because we don't have any transparency over the companies and structures that make it, produce it, and give it to us.
That's a great point, Shady. That's a very good point right there. And, we and if the cures exist, like Q points out, let's just say, first of all, we're not doctors. We don't know. But if HCQ is working, wouldn't that verify and call for more testing? Instead, Fauci wants to test another drug that's like $1,000 a dose. And, he's like, he's resisting the HCQ because you know what? This HCQ has been resisted by the quote unquote powers that be for centuries.
Well, and the other side of this too, guys, is look at all the kickbacks that the doctors have been known to get for all these drugs that they're pushing on us. And a lot of these drugs are chemical compounds, synthetic compounds of natural products that are already out there.
Yeah, and Fauci and BRICS stand to make millions.
Yep, millions, billions.
Well,
and this is what they've been doing. If you remember, go back to the early mid 90s or so was when they kind of started all this. But you couldn't just go represent some sort of pharmaceutical to a doctor firsthand. There had to be clinical studies and there had to be all this structure. And they, under the Clinton administration, they got rid of all of that, opened this all up for Chinese manufacturing and changed the recipes for everything. They've also changed something because before the vaccinations had to be grown with eggs, and now they are using fetal tissue. It's a big difference. Doing with these, these vaccines are cultivated off of fetal tissue, and they don't want people to know that.
And now enter Planned Parenthood.
Yes.
So these people are sick. Let's move on to Q Post. Great conversation, guys. Amazing. And the guys out there in chat, have been watching them too. You guys have been doing great. Thank you very much for coming to the Matrix Groove Hour. We've got 1,478 people watching right now. If you could, please hit that like button and share. And make sure you're subscribed. I've got my buddy telling me he had to resubscribe three times in the last week.
I've got a friend that said the same thing.
Yeah. So this is what happens when you're over the target, folks. All right. So Q Post 4105, Shady. This is about DARPA, Facebook, Twitter, Google, Dem coordination and development of AI tool in attempt to counter your reach. Now public. See previous drop. Demonstrates your collective influence. Think MSM daily attacks. Losing ground. You are winning the information warfare campaign. Support will always be provided. Undisclosed methods. Q.
Now, call it DARPA. It's interesting that we put DARPA, Facebook, Twitter, Google, and the D's right there at the top whenever and this is referring back to the article that we went over yesterday. And yesterday was a crazy show because we had to get through so much. So I think we're going to be backtracking a little bit to that in a minute. But definitely calling out the tools, the people who are directly involved. And you'll see a little later, this goes back again to the mid-90s. So much of this stuff goes back to the mid-90s during the Clinton administration, whenever they were elected and upended, in my opinion, every institute and organization in our country and usurped it and inserted clowns everywhere.
Absolutely. And thank you, Poussant, for dropping Joe Ray's address. If you want to contribute that way, she's got her email address and her phone number. So make sure you support her. Poussant, thank you very much for doing that. The mods are doing a great job dropping.
In case you didn't know, we have a candidate for United States Senate, Joe Ray Perkins, here with us, joining us to go over the Q post and to give her take on it, and also talk a little bit about what's going on in the country. So that's who's with us today, Joe Ray Perkins, and the mods will drop you a link to her.
Yep.
And she will fight for you on Twitter. She fights for Q
she does.
on Twitter, and it is just awesome.
So I got breaking news, Shady. I think this is the time to do it. We've got about 1,500 people here. So we were talking about that article yesterday, Shady. So this is breaking news. DARPA responds to Q. Apparently, DARPA felt it was necessary to make a statement regarding Q Post 4096, Shady, calling them out for helping the Democrats' disinfo campaign against pro-POTUS Q accounts, Shady. Look at this.
What did DARPA have to say, Matrix?
DARPA says Hoagland's claim DARPA funded the tech and heart of this political work is grossly misleading. He advised briefly on ways to counter ISIS online. He was not consulted to design AI or analysis tools, nor certainly anything remotely political. DARPA is strictly apolitical. I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face.
Why do you have to say it?
Don't you mean it's a political hack?
A political hack. I love it. Absolutely. I mean, isn't that crazy that DARPA answered Q? Is that big news, folks?
Wow.
I think, Shady, we need to get our boom out. Ready? 1, 2, boom. That's it. That is boom. And if that's not on Jesse Waters or Sean Hannity or any Laura Ingraham or Tucker, I mean, breaking news. DARPA felt it necessary to answer a LARP.
Person in their basement.
What do you think of that? If that doesn't legitimize this movement, folks, I don't know what does. So retweet it.
That's just like what Mike and Dave Rothschild are doing all the time.
Right? And that is 4096. So let's go down to 4096, Shady. And Joe Ray. Here we go. 4096 right here. And you know what I want to do is I want to understand that I believe that when I read the article, I read that the government funds, they used government funds. And DARPA said, well, you didn't use our funds. Well, in a sense, that's actually true.
Right.
Because they used government funds to build it, not the DARPA funds. Because I don't believe DARPA is, we'll go over that. That's a defense, I'll show you how they were started and we'll go from there. But this is Dems deploying DARPA-funded AI. So I think this right there was kind of in there to help them lie, if you will. Does that make sense?
Board-level annuities from Bright House Financial can help provide your portfolio with a level of protection from market volatility and opportunities for growth, so you can feel some protection even when the market is uncertain. Bright House.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so information warfare. Imagine that. So they're saying DARPA funded where it's government funded. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
And here we go. This is the anti-Trump Democrat. And we did a little bit of a dig on Stanley McChrystal yesterday as well. I mean, if you want to talk about being in the Twilight Zone, do a little dig on this guy. And then Shady, you did a little bit of a dig of the Hoagland guy, correct?
Yes. And that was very interesting because I found out that he goes back. I don't know. Here, let me drop you this link and you can just kind of show it. I'll share it with you real quick. But he goes back to same time period and involved with the founded one of the first new media agencies in 93, the First Attention, where he helped CompuServe, AOL, Amazon, and Microsoft navigate and ascent ISPs, bulletin boards, and forums. He went on to establish the new media practice at Rudder Finn and ran a 150-person digital marketing and communications consultancy for Euro RSCG before launching Film Movement, the first film distribution company to release films simultaneously in theaters and on DVD. Founded Attention in 2006 because he believes that social media is an innate behavior, not a technology that is altering how people connect to brands and each other. Today, he supports a number of nonprofits, including New York Cares, Housing Works, CFDA, UNICEF, and Harlem RBI, among others. So that is our Hoagland guy, and he's just very conveniently going back to the birth of the web. And if you remember CompuServe and AOL, well, a lot of people don't remember that things like Microsoft and Amazon were right there back then, along with Google and Facebook in the architecture. They had all this stuff set up before they started presenting it to the public in the mid-late 90s.
Wow.
And so this guy seems to be a pretty much a pivot point for all things internet going back to 1993. And interestingly enough, of course, we get the 93 in there.
93? Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Oh, my gosh. I wanted it real quick. I was trying to find the actual... Here it is. DARPA. Did they block me? No, there they are. Yeah, they did. I'm blocked from DARPA.
Blocked from DARPA?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Winning.
Joe Ray, I am blocked from following DARPA.
Holy cow, give us a 17 for Matrix accomplishing that.
I was wondering why I couldn't find them, guys. Holy moly. I am blocked from filing. Do you think that's a good thing?
I don't know.
Joe Ray, what do you think about that?
Now he's on a Hillary Clinton list and DARPA has it blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're winning in this movement.
Oh my gosh.
I guess they don't want you to expose them.
Wow, huh?
I mean, you seem to be right over the target there.
I am kind of blown away on that.
And that'll spin you out for a second. Did you tag them in this tweet?
Yes.
And then they blocked your ass.
Yep. I mean, what do you do? I mean, I'm just trying to show them, what's going on. I was just reporting the news.
Matrix, do not look behind the curtain. There's nothing to see there.
Nothing to see here. Let me just make sure. I want to get this actually out on Twitter, guys, because this is breaking news. This is hilarious. I think it's in this folder here, guys. I'm so sorry. I just wow.
My goodness, what are you doing? You got your whole computer up.
I'm freaking out, Shady. DARPA has blocked me. Dot at.
It's not. There it is. Okay.
Blocked me, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, Q. There you go. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. And then, for the above tweet. So, sorry, guys. I mean, this is huge. I mean, we got blocked. The Matrix, you guys, we all got blocked. I always say that no one here is above the other. We all dig together. You know what I mean? And everybody in spirit is the Matrix in the Matrix channel. You see what I mean?
So when you said that they blocked you, it reminded me suddenly of a football game. What is it that the defense is always trying to do the offense? They're trying to block them from making that touchdown, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Good
absolutely.
Point.
Yep. And what they don't realize is that there's a whole lot of Hail Marys coming at them, and they're not going to be able to stop them all.
Nothing can stop what's coming.
Amen.
Amen to that. All right, here we go. Shady, this is the next one that we didn't cover, I believe. Was this? Wait, no, we did cover that. I'm sorry. Because we went down to that article about DARPA.
Drop down for a second, right.
All right, so we're going to 5.5. I believe we're going to 5.5 now, aren't we? Yep, we did that one.
Great.
Here we go. This is the toolkits can be helpful. So, guys, this is going to be my QAnon post thread for 5.5. Happy 5.5 day and Cinco de Mayo. Get your margaritas tonight, and toolkits can be helpful and more. Let's go, folks. This is a night shift post. This happened at the first post happened around what? 8 minutes into midnight. So my threads are open. Remember, guys, my threads are open from midnight to midnight, and check back often because there's a lot of digging going on in those threads. You know, I'm not just posting Q posts. There's a lot of other stuff in there, okay? I'm bringing brilliant Anon digs into there, our digs. Your digs out there in YouTube sometimes get put in the threads. So, guys, check out the threads often, and please help me beat the AI and retweet them if you can. I really, really appreciate it. Shady, why don't you take it?
Toolkits can be helpful. Q.
That was a really good read, Shady.
Thank you very much. I was really, I was practicing on that all morning.
That was a really good read. And as you know, 8chan kind of looks very similar to the Ghidra logo, and that's what it's the NSA CSS. This is the Ghidra, and we've had this drop before, guys, and we're going to kind of explain. A lot of people are like, what is Ghidra? And I'm going to kind of explain. It's a reverse engineering tool, and we'll go through this thread to kind of help you understand what that is. And then somebody said, Q retweeted, should probably get around to messing with that, right? And there you go. There's the Q post right there. We're going to keep heading down right here. This is the next Q post right here showing that present. And Anon says gifts, and Q drops that present, and we kind of found where that present came from, so stay tuned. But basically, internally, the NSA uses Ghidra to examine all kinds of software, from analyzing pieces of malware on networks secured by the NSA and to examining legitimate software for vulnerabilities. So this is a reverse engineering tool where you can check out, like, let's say somebody sends malware to you. You have to have a malware set up. This is mostly for like the network security engineers in your network, in a bigger network, for, let's say, educational institutions, businesses, companies, the government, and they have a sandbox, I call it, and they can reverse engineer the malware and find out where it came from and hopefully make adjustments to their network to make sure that that vulnerability doesn't spread throughout and create major damage into their network, essentially. That's kind of what it is. But releasing the tool will hopefully help national security by supporting independent researchers. Very interesting, right? Who are we? Are we independent researchers, guys?
Boom.
And help educate a new workforce for industry. Do you think we're going to have a new workforce for industry?
Boom.
Huh? All right. And then also the workforce for industry and the NSA. So Joyce said it's also a chance for the NSA to give back. We've built Ghidra using government funds and where we can. So they built this and gave it away. But also interesting to note, this leads us to Admiral Rogers. So Admiral Rogers says the balance that I want, the president encouraged him or told him, and this is Obama at the time, I believe, that I want you to strike a balance, largely focused on when you find vulnerabilities, to share them. So by orders of magnitude, when we find vulnerabilities, they share them. So the NSA will find a vulnerability and share it with all of the other people in the security industry. So the NSA director, we share most of the crap bugs we find, crypto everywhere. 'Tis all the board's databases did shrink. So this is the Admiral Rogers told students that U.S. Barack Obama said that we should share the vulnerability. So that actually kind of raises a red flag to me. I mean, obviously, Barack Obama wanted him to share the vulnerabilities, but by sharing the vulnerabilities, that could weaponize people to use those against us. And companies or individuals or institutions that have not protected themselves from those vulnerabilities are still at risk. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, I think that was a good way to explain it.
Okay. I've sold all this stuff. Like, I've sold Cisco systems for many years, and it kind of, helped me out. But what I want to really bring this back is, guess who released it?
Guess who? Guess who?
Guess who released Ghidra? It was originally revealed in the WikiLeaks dump in March 2017, but the software itself remained unavailable until its declass, and then officially released 2 years later. So it was released in I think April of 2019. Shady.
Yeah, you pointed us to it last year whenever it was released.
That's right. So if you want to really, if you're into this stuff, you want to see what Ghidra looks like. It's pretty interesting. Boring for most, but if you're a computer person that knows code and knows how to deal with this stuff and set up your own little sandbox to test malware, and you can check it out. So this is a Ghidra quick start tutorial where they solve a simple crack me file.
Yeah, and there was a few people last night that were kind of asking about, what does it mean? Break it down. What does it mean in layman's terms? And one of the Anons was basically saying, so if you were to basically think about it like this, if you're going to go and pick up and eat a cupcake, you don't really know what's in the cupcake. But with Ghidra, you could look at it and analyze it and see that there were 2 eggs, a teaspoon of salt, some baking powder, and the proper measurements of what went into it. So think about it like that whenever you're looking at code or a program or a picture or something you're trying to take apart a file name. So that's a little bit, it's like an analyzation tool, maybe. I don't know if that explains it.
No, that's it. It reverse engineers it to see if there's any like ransomware inside of it, anything that could like tap your computer, anything that could take your computer, a virus that could spread throughout your whole network. Yes, very, very well said.
And I don't know what you think about it, but to me, it seems like, this is a tool for people who understand this stuff to analyze and maybe clean out or go through their machines and get networks more functional that are already infiltrated right now. You could do this on your own.
Another theory that a brilliant Anon had, would Ghidra on Pixel not reveal any GIFs? I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, that's an interesting theory. Yep.
So then this is another one. There's no stopping it now. D5 picture, red, D5. So that could also be another hint that, the avalanche is coming. And Shady and I were talking about this the other day, is that once Flynn is declassed, that will start an avalanche. And I don't know if you recall, back, a year ago, not this year, but the year before, Wikipedia was saying that Flynn's birthday was on December 5th.
Right.
Where it's really December 24th.
Right.
Very interesting. So that could be another clue that was kind of, hinted at us. And then you got the time is coming, Shady.
Man, what a meme this was.
I love it. I love the Punisher. I don't know why. Look at that. Ooh. And then let's go to Shady's. What happened here, Shady?
Well, this was Scavino made this GIF right here that I took a little picture of at 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. and of the clock winding inward, and it was like spinning. And Scavino made that tweet, and then 44 minutes later,
how many?
44 minutes later, Q dropped the Punisher meme with "the time is coming."
44
minutes in between. I wonder what that means. Probably just a coincidence.
Yeah, because I was going to point out the timestamp on there too, 44. And then 45, 54 backwards.
45, yep.
OMG.
Time is coming.
The time is coming. Coincidence, Shady. It probably is a total coincidence, brother.
Joe Ray, coincidence?
Coincidence. Of course it is.
I wanted to just remind everybody here, I don't know how long you've been following Q. I know we've got a lot of new eyes, Shady, but this was a Q post, and Facebook was created by DARPA to track a person's entire existence. If you look at the, it says, if you look at the, I can't read it real quick. Can you read the yellow part on the Pentagon kills the LifeLog project, Shady?
It says that run by DARPA, the Defense Department's research arm, LifeLog aimed to gather in a single place just about everything an individual says, sees, or does. The phone calls made, the TV shows watched, the magazines read, the plane tickets bought, the emails sent and received, and out of this seemingly endless ocean of information, computer scientists would plot distinctive routes in the data, mapping relationships, memories, events, and experiences.
Wow. And you see the date when the Pentagon kills LifeLog, it's February 4th and 2004. And interestingly enough, guess when Facebook filed for being a company, guys?
That was the night before Zuckerberg was in his basement with the bong and his buddies.
Developing and designing Facebook. That's right.
The very next day, and they launched.
They launched it.
Time. Really, And, it's interesting, too. I like to point this out to people. A lot of people don't realize this. But the FBI, before there was an internet, used to keep tabs on people. And they would keep all of the criminals' mugshots and stuff in a big book, like a huge book. And they would bring it into you and they'd set it down in front of you and they'd start flipping.
Mm-hmm.
Say, is this guy? Guess what that book was called?
Lifelog? Facebook.
It was called The Facebook.
Oh, my God.
That's what that was called. And so they literally turned this into
a
moment where, okay, here you guys go. You guys give us all the information. You voluntarily upload all your information and talk on our platforms and communicate on our platforms and text and share and read. And now we know exactly what you think and what you think about it and what you stop and how much you spend and what you do and who you talk to. And then whenever we got the COVID, boy, we could do a lot with that whenever we start digging into it, if you think about it like that.
COVID. Now, let me set this up, Shady, because this was actually a friend of mine. Oops, what happened here? Friend of mine actually, what is going on here? That's weird. Stand by 1 second. Interestingly enough, a friend of mine gave me this information, which was kind of interesting. Not going to tell you who it is or whatever, but it was 12 looking forward, 510515. We found out that it leads to a ARPA, Department of Defense Directive 5105.15. That's when DARPA was born, guys, in February 7th, 1958. And we got a new Q. By the way, what does 5105.15 add up to?
Let me see. 5 plus 1 plus 5.
11.
Plus 1 plus 5 is 17.
Oh, there it is right there. So do you think our president is going to issue an executive order to end DARPA due to weaponizing it against POTUS and the people, guys?
There's another.
Q post. Twitter Brexit status. Here we go. Let's go check it out.
That's the new one. Yep.
Look at that. Q sent us. And let me get the where's the show here? Let me go find the show. Q sent us, guys.
Live
on the air. Thank you, Q. And paste. There we go. So that's awesome, guys. Let me see. So this is Brexit. Many have asked who Q is. We are all Q. This is the meaning of where we go, one we go all. All of us patriots who care about our country and don't want to see it destroyed. That is why we must stick together. Who is with me? I'm with you. And let's see, QAnon British Division. Look at that. QAnon Army. Let's go. Thank you. God bless you guys. That is amazing. All right, so let's go back. Where were we? Right here. So this is interesting. Could you imagine, because they've weaponized Facebook, which is owned by DARPA, Google, Twitter, Amazon, am I leaving any out? Probably all of them. Instagram. Let's let all of them. Snapchat, you name it. What if real Donald Trump ends DARPA, aka the DoD Directive 5105.15, and due to weaponizing against our president and us? Q and pro POTUS accounts, guys. They're weaponizing this against us.
And notice that we did have the message yesterday that said undisclosed methods to protect.
That's right. And
I'm imagining that we have worked around their workarounds at this point. There would be no reason to be announcing this if we haven't already worked around their workaround.
I was blocked by DARPA.
I noticed.
That's crazy. I can't believe that. So I wanted to go to this real quick because part of the other message was 12 forward. If you understand the internet and you type in, let's say, facebook.com, you have what they call DNS servers. So those DNS servers take facebook.com and translate it into like 192. Whatever. So are these soon to be dark? And that could be something happening. Is it going to be DARPA dark? Is it going to be Media dark? Is the president going to undo that executive order and storm all the media companies dark? I mean, remember, it's not 10 days of darkness. It's 10 days, period, darkness.
Darn kiss.
Darn kiss, too, yes.
So it doesn't really even say darkness.
Well, there is, yeah, that is wild, isn't it? So
well,
this
another
is,
one does, but it doesn't say it on the one that we kind of originally thought. We went back and examined that, and I was like, wow, how did we miss that?
So, I mean, look at this. I mean, DARPA felt it necessary to respond to QAnon posts. Here's another one, and then here's the article, Shady, that you were talking about regarding Greg _Ree, this is the article, I believe. Isn't this the article that Q posted?
I think, yes, that's the article that Q posted, yes.
So, DARPA felt it necessary to point this out and block me. I just can't make it up. I don't know what's going on.
I'm going to troll DARPA right now, see if I can get them to block me.
Oh, my gosh. Oh my gosh. So then also remember Q led us to these posts, right? About MIT, right? Here it is. Tech review, ready to stand up, Shady? Look at this.
Yep.
Machine learning could check if you're social distancing. But DARPA is apolitical, right?
They're apolitical, and the guy that is...
Guess who developed it, Shady?
Yeah, the guy that they were just talking about that is working on developing this AI wasn't the guy who was with them with Amazon in 1993. Oh, wait. He was the guy.
19 what?
Whenever the same guy from 93 is the guy who is heading this AI.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, how's it political?
So I just don't know, Shady. I mean,
I'm just trying to say.
If you have to say you're apolitical, you're not apolitical.
Like if you have to say you're asexual, is it the same?
I think so. No, that's totally off topic, Shady.
Sorry.
4108, the picture seems to be leading this one right here, November 28th, 2019. Many CRs, top-rated products, make great gifts trying to be healthier New Year. So it appears that this is where the picture came from. It didn't come up in Tin Eye, though, which is really
Right.
So I did find one.
And we do have, we have lots of other stuff that we could connect with this. Nothing really that.
Look at this.
Specifically, but here,
masked.
And hypertension and white coat. I'm sorry, this is just really.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like seeming like, originally when I first saw it, I was like, okay, well, we're targeting Red Cross now because obviously we got lots of stuff to deal with that whole organization. But nothing showed me that they might be showing us Red Cross with that red, right?
Yep. And that could very well be. Yep. And then we've got the Q post right here. Then and now, Comey, Brennan assessment, Clapper assist, hard push. So then and now. So let's go look at this one right here.
Then
Q post. This is then. FBI agrees with the CIA assessment that Russia wanted to help Trump.
Oh.
17 intel agencies, Shady. And then what is this one? So then and now, Brennan in Killbox and Comey assessment, Clapper assist, Killbox, hard push. And let's see what we got here at the Justice Archives. Oh, this is conspiracy to defraud the United States, Shady.
Statute 18, title or code 371.
Yeah, 18 USC, United States. What is it, code, right?
I smell a conspiracy.
5-5.
Whoa. Who's the conspiracy theorist now, yo?
DARPA will just block you. All right, here we go. Justice Department, knowingly and willfully, guys. Yep. Wow. Wow.
Let's think about, we've been talking about knowingly and Adam Schiff and Comey and all this. Well, let's think about knowingly and Dr. Fauci.
Yes.
Knowingly applies to anyone who knowingly did anything illegal or against the American people. If you're creating poisons to inject into us, that's kind of knowingly.
And 23 in pain, Shady.
Treason, misprison, insurrection, seditious conspiracy, advocating overthrow, registration of certain organizations. Look at this, pointing us right to it.
Is this what's happening right now out there? Press 17 if this is what's happening right now. Are you awake? Let's see all you brilliant, beautiful
They are awake and they're fired up, my brother.
Yes, sir. Wow.
They're ready to see some 23 pain.
Do you guys know what the 2391 was? It says repealed. Is it in there?
Is that the one about hanging people? 2391. Let's go look. Let me get on 2391 treason repealed. Live dig with Joe Ray. That was 2391, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Let me just for some
Chapter
reason.
115.
Let's see.
Title 18.
It keeps changing it to 2391 or 01, calling high treason. Treason Act of 1351, but there it is, repealed. Here we go. Let's go see. This one was procedure, bill and statutes. So this is crimes and criminal procedure. So it's something to do about the procedure, huh?
That was repealed. Repealed when? 2012?
2011? Repealed, disposition repealed, public
In
law.
2011 and effective January 3, 2012.
Interesting.
Under 44.
Document in context. So that's the summary. So what's on that document tab?
Okay.
General provisions.
So we got to go find 2391 or...
Title 50. No. Let's see, that was 18. It was in Title 18.
Okay. There it
Crimes
is.
and criminal procedure. Good golly, Miss Molly.
Oh my.
My daughter said to me 6 years ago, she said, Mom, why can't we just get rid of all the laws and start over?
Right? Because the Constitution's very, very
Well, if we were to
poignant.
if we backed it all down to what the Constitution says, it would be real easy. Get rid of FDA, FCC, all of these alpha organizations. It'd be easy to go back to common law.
So
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be going through thousands of pages of this information. How can we possibly know this stuff?
We would have to get rid of all the lawyers.
Oh, darn.
Oh,
Like
boy.
all of them. Because the Constitution is set up in a way where you should not require a lawyer because ignorance under the law wasn't allowed. So you're really, according to the Constitution, allowed to use a lawyer because you're supposed to know how to stand up and represent yourself in court.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
These are the facts. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
Just the facts, ma'am. Now, Shady, everybody out there in YouTube land, will you follow the narrative?
Will you?
Will you follow the masks are here to stay and they're quickly becoming a way to express ourselves?
Yeah.
Not muzzling me.
You know what was wild is that they had Trump masks and stuff, and I got triggered. I'm like, I'm not buying that crap.
Yeah.
I got triggered.
Sorry about that. I had a phone call. Go ahead, guys. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's very stylish.
I don't think it's very stylish either. And like we were saying at the top of the show,
I love hers. That's awesome.
Did you see that? Look at, I mean, are you kidding me? Wait, let me find out why.
Meanwhile, we had reports of a couple of people in China yesterday who died trying to run while wearing a mask. So
Wow.
I would ask you, please, if you're going to exercise, don't do it in a mask. You can't not breathe your own CO2 consistently at high volumes of.
Whoa, really?
Yes, it's not good.
You know, Shady, I think you might have just accidentally stumbled onto something there, because if they're telling us to wear our masks all the time,
What are they trying to do to us?
are they trying to suffocate us without us even knowing?
Trying to
My brain goes off into crazy places, and yes, I'm running for the U.S. Senate, but my brain just, whoop, there it goes, off into
I didn't have to say it.
It's okay to question stuff, guys. Right? Wow. That's amazing. All right. And then we've got that, the last Q post here. So we did this one here. We just did this one here. Shady, why don't you go ahead? Or Joe Ray, do you want to take this one?
Sure.
4112.
4112. We removed 5 pages, 20 Facebook accounts, and 6 groups that originated in the U.S. and focused domestically. Our investigation linked this activity to individuals associated with the QAnon network, known to spread fringe conspiracy theories. We found this activity as part of our internal investigations into suspected coordinated inauthentic behavior ahead of the 2020 election in the US. Information warfare, Q.
Wow, I wonder if our group is still up.
I don't know, but I know that I've seen a bunch of people earlier on Twitter that were talking about having trouble getting on Facebook and getting in groups. And I don't do Facebook, so I really wouldn't know what they're coming after. But I know there's some large large Q communities on Facebook.
It looks like we're still there.
You're there.
We're there.
Yeah. All right, so guys, get over to the Matrix Groove Hour. So it's the Matrix with 3 X's / Groove with 3 O's hour on Facebook. Get over there before they take us down. I was blocked by DARPA.
I was blocked by DARPA. That's a new hashtag.
Got another feather in his cap.
I know.
I was blocked by DARPA.
This is crazy. April 2020, coordinated inauthentic behavior. What's so inauthentic about being a patriot, guys?
Oh, that's not what's inauthentic. What's inauthentic is you're trying to stand up against their corrupt system of control.
Well, look at what it says right there. Scroll back up, if you would, please. Nope, down a little bit. Right there. Stop.
There we go.
We're constantly working to find and stop coordinated campaigns that seek to manipulate public debate across our apps.
That doesn't seem like they're opening things up for a freedom of discussion or discernment amongst the individual people.
No,
Hey, you guys out there, do you guys feel manipulated?
This is ridiculous.
Yes or no out there? Do you guys say yes if you feel manipulated by watching this show? And no if you don't. Or yes if you feel manipulated by QAnon, or no if you don't. Let's hear it. Helen Garley says, new quote by Matrix, I was blocked by DARPA. Look at, no. Oh, there's one person that said yes. I love it.
You're confused. It's okay.
It's okay. Maybe you heard the question wrong. But I don't feel manipulated. I want to see QAnon content. I want to see their content too, because I can make my own mind up, right, Shady? I mean, isn't that the whole...
Exactly right. I feel like that I want to be able to make a comparison and contrast, and what they're attempting to do is take down anything that compares or contrasts to the narrative.
Yep.
They don't want anything that is outside of that box to be discussed, and that is, we're allowed. We can sit here and we should be able to discuss whatever we want. If we want to discuss, what's going on in another country, if we want to discuss what's going on in other planets, if we want to discuss what's going on in the architecture of the Matrix, whatever we wanted to discuss, there's no reason, as long as we're not using terrible language or sharing pornographic images, that we shouldn't be able to discuss whatever it is we want to discuss. But Q said in the post that you guys have been trending on Twitter 24/7, 365. And I think that goes back to early spring of 2018, everyone. And how infuriating must it be for the people behind the scenes at Twitter and Facebook to go in every day? They're going into work every day and they're seeing that you're still trending every day behind the scenes. Somebody somewhere is seeing this happen and they're freaking out because they have to report it to their uppers. And you know how mob bosses are in movies whenever you give them bad news. These people don't want to give them bad news because,
wow,
things happen.
And they're they're scrubbing people on COVID and stuff like that. I mean,
yep.
We were demonetized because of COVID, and it's like, wait a minute, I didn't say it was about the COVID and the G5. I said it backwards on purpose. But we never said that that's what it was. We were simply looking at the presidential. It wasn't the president. It was a Congress thing about trying to make G5 safe.
Yep. Which is an actual bill they're discussing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh my God.
One of the things that was in that you just closed there, Matrix, was that some of those people were driving, discussing the COVID-19, driving them to off platform to have discussions. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It's right there in that paragraph. We've seen these people behind these campaigns opportunistically use coronavirus-related posts, among many others, to build an audience and drive people to their pages or off-platform sites. Oh my gosh. You got to stay on Facebook. Don't go anywhere else to somebody else's own page. Stay on Facebook.
Don't go to intheMatrixx or 3x's.com. Do not do it. Do not do it.
Well, I mean,
don't go to Perkins for Senate. Nope. Don't go. Guys, do not go here. Especially don't go here and hit this donate button. Do not do it.
Especially don't get a ballot and send it in and put and mark her name on it.
Yeah, don't do that either, folks. No. And by the way, let's go ahead and go to regular so we can see. Let me stop the share, and we'll just have a conversation about your campaign. And I want to, understand. I know the biggest part is getting on the ballot, right? So why don't you take us through what's happening with you, Joe Ray, in the great state of Oregon?
Well, I'm on the ballot. Here, I have my ballot because I haven't mailed it in yet because it's not the 19th. Let's see, where am I at? Oh, I'm right here. Oh,
there
wait.
You are. You got you.
There we go. I'm there somewhere in your camera. There we go. Somewhere down there. Up there we go.
Wait, make sure you didn't go outside the lines, did you? Because they might get you for somebody else.
Oh, a teeny bit, but I'm okay. I'm all right.
God bless you, Joe Ray. Congratulations.
I live my life outside the lines.
What does it take to get on the ballot?
So, well, honestly, all it takes to get on the ballot is you can get on the ballot one of two ways. You can pay money to the state, or you can do it by petition. It costs $150, so I spent $150 to put my name on the ballot. And then to get in the voter's guide is a whole nother thing. I can pay money. In this state, it's $2,500 to give the state $2,500 to put my statement in the voter guide for no work, or I go around and I gather at least 500 signatures, 500 signatures, and give them work to verify that, yes, all those voters say my statement should be on the voter guide. I submitted 748 signatures. I knew that I was there. So my statement is in the voter guide. So it's going great. Of course, my main opposition is busy slinging mud, and it's frustrating because it's a fellow Republican, and so I get really frustrated with that kind of stuff. Talk on the merits. Don't sling mud. And
he's using the wrap-up smear, a Democrat handbook.
Yeah, he is, and so I don't want to play dirty. I want people to vote for me because they believe that I am the best candidate and the one that can and will unseat the very far left liberal Senator do nothing Jeff Merkley.
Wow.
So I'm a fighter with a smile.
Absolutely, and congratulations, Shady. You've been to a couple of events. Why don't you how are the Oregonians there? Are they all masked up? Are they capitulating to the draconian laws?
Well, I know that they had a big rally this past weekend up in the Capitol. I was going to sneak there, but I didn't. It was raining. I didn't go, but I saw a good amount of pictures. I didn't see a lot of people in masks there.
No.
And walking around here, and I'm about 3.5 hours or so south of the Capitol, and walking around and being out and about here the last few days, being outside and not going into any stores or anything, I'm not seeing hardly anyone wearing a mask, which is very good news. And so it really is it really starting to get a little bit. People are starting to get a little bit antsy because the governor has now made some announcements that she's, not going to open up till the 16th of July, and maybe she's coming back off of that. But the idea that, this line that has been drawn between essential and non-essential businesses, there's no such thing as a non-essential business, in my opinion. If someone is in business, then they're in business because they have they're in business, so they have overhead, they have costs, they have rent, they have employees, they have stuff that has to be bought, supplies that have to be attained and manufactured. And so to me, there's no such thing as a non-essential business. If you're, considering the homeless population that we see out here and how many people are not doing anything, the idea that people are wanting to do business shouldn't be impeded. And I think a lot of people in Oregon are getting tired of it. And I got a feeling they're going to start pushing back pretty hard if the governor makes any weird moves like we're seeing in other states. As far as what we saw in Chicago over the weekend from the mayor there is just, that is you can't get more tyrannical than that.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is getting out of hand, and I think people are. I mean, Oregon doesn't have a really big breakout or outbreak or whatever you want to call it. Is that true? I mean,
no.
What is it, Joe? Like 150 people?
109 people as of a couple of days ago. 2,658 known cases. But what was interesting is they didn't put how many recovered. So I did quick math. So that means of the known cases, 2,536 people recovered and 109 people passed away. We don't know if that was from or with COVID-19. And so, and I'm looking at a video that I shot. I went up there. I got there rather late on Saturday at the state capitol. I was not going to go, but my neighbor went. He called because you need to get up here. So I got up there about 1:15. I thought it started at noon. Apparently, it started at 10:30. I'm going to flip this around. Let's see if you guys can see any of this too much. But I don't see a whole lot of masks on people.
No, I don't see any.
So anyway,
didn't they say there was like 100 people there, where there was maybe a lot more than that?
So Willamette Week said there were 300 people there. There were easily 3,000 people.
Wow.
Easily 3,000. I commented on Willamette Week's page. I said, apparently your reporter doesn't know how to count. Now, if they got there just as it was ending, but they didn't, I don't think they did, because they mentioned Patriot prayer leader Joey Gibson. He was there in the morning speaking. So they have to have been there. So if they got there at 10:30 in the morning when not very many people were there, I could see 300. But at the height of it, when my friend got there at noon, he said that it was thousands.
Well, I mean, I saw a couple of videos that were, I mean, you could tell there was way over 300 people. Maybe that reporter is, maybe the reporter had Common Core math.
Could be estimation. Estimation. So, hey, I get a couple questions from people. They want to know if I stand with President Trump, and my answer is 99.9999% yes. The only reason it's not 100% is, well, I've been married to my husband for 42 years. We do not agree 100% of the time.
Okay.
So I absolutely support our president. He is doing a phenomenal job. We know, those of us that are woke, we know that he is working behind the scenes. And he's letting the deep state Fauci kind of hang themselves bricks with some of their comments and exposing themselves. People want to know, well, why is he letting them do this? Because the more they talk, the more they expose themselves. And so it's great. So absolutely, I think he's doing a phenomenal job. Hey, you were talking about essential. I interviewed a guy. This gentleman right here, they own a business over in Depot Bay called His and Hers. Guess what? That business is essential to them. The his side is kind of the man cave stuff, and the her side is, the things that ladies like, kind of the, the sparklies. So anyway, these jobs are essential. We need to get it opened up, and I've been talking that for quite a while, that I think COVID is a form of the flu. So. Yes, I support President Trump. We'll just call it 100% because it's pretty much there. I'm against Common Core. I believe in medical freedom. If you want to vaccinate, vaccinate. If you don't. Your choice. I think that we should have the voucher system for schools, and I'm sick and tired of the public schools corrupting the minds of our children. And I have a feeling that through what has been going on, there's a couple of things, especially here in Oregon, because you see, the longer that our governor decides that his business is not essential to him, that is just, well, whatever, more and more people are waking up here, and it's going to backfire on the governor. It's going to backfire big time come November, and we're going to go red, and I'm 100% convinced of that. So we need to push back on this type of tyranny. And I've been calling it a soft martial law since almost day one. And people go, well, gosh, Joe Ray, what do you mean? Well, not one gun was pulled out on any of us. Nobody has said you have to stay home or we're going to come and do this, although it's starting to happen in other places. But the stay home, save lives, I'm sorry. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to stay home. I'd love to get together with a bunch of friends, but I don't want to freak people out. So y'all got to do what you got to do and what you're comfortable with. Let us be adults. And this is a free country. So anyway, those are just some of the questions that people ask me that are not on my Facebook page. So medical freedom, yes. President Trump, yes. Common Core, no.
Excellent. What do you think about, like, guys, if you guys have any questions for Joe Ray, just drop them in real quick. But she is for Oregon. She's for America, as you've heard. And I think it's okay to just question everything. And, you know, that's what a senator or, you know, just anybody in life, you're presented with information, you research it, and you figure out if you agree with it or not. It's really that simple. She's actually, you've been very busy too. Do you have any upcoming events? Do you have one today?
No, because where am I going to go?
Oh yeah,
I'm sitting in my office, and
you're hanging out with us though, Joe Ray. Thank you.
I'm hanging out with you guys. So after we're done here, it is smile and dial, calling for votes, calling for donations, and working on a letter.
What would you rate maybe like the people that you're interacting with and stuff, like what would you rate their frustration with this whole pandemic, whatever you want to call it? Are you seeing, because you're in you're up there where there's a lot more concentration of people on the left than there are down here necessarily, but are you seeing people on the left that aren't buying the narrative starting to move over and be like, what is going on with the Fauci BRICS thing? Or are they staying stuck, or just kind of like maybe just an overview of what you've witnessed personally?
Well, unfortunately, because, you know, we end up clustering with like-minded people. As we see that on social media. I attempt to make my page open so that anybody can participate. And I if I'm paying attention and they start getting after some of my friends that are not Republicans, I stop it, because you know what? Let's have an open conversation. Mm-hmm. Just don't call names. Every now and then it might be appropriate, but it's very, very rare. Let's be respectful of people's views, opinions, their values. That's what makes America great. But I haven't seen a whole lot of it, Shady, to be honest with you, of people from the other side, outside of the medical freedom people. They're really about the only ones that are really talking about it. There's a lot of people that are still really freaked out about this. They're wearing the masks. They think that it's real. Mm-hmm. They're buying the narrative that, oh my gosh. And of course, my response is, when seasonal flu comes out every year, do you shut down? Do you wear a mask?
Nope.
No, you don't. If you're not healthy, stay home. If you're in fear, stay home. If you're sick, stay home. We've all been around those people that have been hacking up around us. Like, God, get away. Dude, I don't want to take your sickness and go. Let's be sensitive to other people, but at the same time, my being sensitive, those people when they're sick being sensitive to other people is people being insensitive to my freedom. Yeah. Because, and I've seen it posted, I think Candace Owens posted it, as well as other people, that you're something like, my freedom does not stop where your fear begins.
Correct. And we also have to realize that we as people are not supposed to request things from the government, such as safety and security. It's not the government's job. The reason that we were given the Second Amendment, because it is our job to safely secure ourselves. And the government, when tasked with such things, gets way out of control really, really fast all across the long arc of history.
They do. The number one job is to protect our country as a whole from outside people coming to attack us and from domestic people trying to undermine us. That's their job. Other than that, we should be able to protect ourselves and be adults and make our own decisions. And people are pretty good at, when pre-political correctness, people have been pretty good at saying, hey, you know what? You need to straighten up. You're out of bounds. Get your act together. I mean, it used to be when we were kids. If a kid was out running amok, it didn't matter. Then one of the parents would tattle on them. You know what? Get your act together. little Johnny is off doing X, and they kept people, they helped keep the kids in line, and it was okay. You didn't get in trouble for that. You weren't, oh, you're just a busybody. No, I want your child to be safe and grow up and be a healthy, responsible person. But now the government wants to tell us all how we can raise our kids. And here in Oregon, by the way, there is apparently something from the Child Services Division that says that if CSD goes to a home and they find out that somebody there has the COVID-19, they can remove the children from the home.
And I was actually putting up some stuff similar to this on Twitter last week, and I had a bunch of people come over and attack me because they were saying that this isn't legitimate. I'm like, listen, this may not be specifically legitimate, but these plans are out there. These plans are in the works to say things like, oh, well, if there's an infection in your house, then we can come in and inspect, or they're sending people from the schools to make sure the children don't have COVID in the house. I mean, this stuff is getting ready to happen, and we have got to be ready to stand up against this.
Yeah. Absolutely, we do. Hey, one of the neat things, there was a couple that lived in New York City, and they went out to the suburbs. They were both working full time and had their son in school. I just read this article the other day. And so they got out of the city. They're not going back to the city. They're homeschooling their son. They decided not to do the online school thing because of their work schedules. It was putting too much stress on them. And they said, you know what? We don't think we're going to go back. We think we like this lifestyle now, where it's not so much hustle and bustle. They can still have their businesses, still make their income, and be with their 6-year-old son. And yay, I think that's awesome. And I'm hoping that more and more people are realizing that there's things that they can do and spend more time with their families. In America, we've been set up in a monetary system where both parents, if there's a two-parent household, must work in order to make ends meet, and that's wrong.
So we have a question from someone out there. Edwin Labato asks, what are your views on senators selling investments when they heard about the COVID-19 news and didn't tell their constituents?
So when I was a financial planner, there was a thing called insider trading, and it's against the law. Mm-hmm. If I was talking to somebody at a gathering and said, hey, I heard that there's going to be a new COVID drug that's getting released by Gilead in a couple of weeks, and they acted and they went and bought stock in Gilead and made a killing, I can go to jail, and so can they.
So why is that different for senators?
They have made a rule that they're not supposed to do it. They overturn. They can kind of make these rules, and it's the whole Congress, not just the Senate. They need to stop it. So there's the 28th Amendment going around, and friends, I'm going to tell you, 99% of that 28th Amendment that's been going all over Facebook is 99% of that is 100% wrong. The only item is number 6, which talks about the insider trading, and that is 99% inaccurate. It's about 1% right. But maybe I said that wrong backwards. Anyway, that was about as close to right as it can be. If it's against the law, it's against the law. And absolutely no elected official should ever be able to act whatsoever on insider information. And I will not hesitate to write a bill on that. And I don't like all these laws, but don't act. And I know that the one person, she goes, oh, well, but my money's in a blind trust. So they acted. Well, how did your advisor know?
Right. Well, see, now look, isn't this very interesting? Because whenever we dig into this just a little bit, and you see that there were multiple people that did this, and including, I think, Richard Burr from North Carolina and a few other higher up senators that have been there for a while. But what they kept saying was, oh, well, we don't have any control over what our investors do. So it looks to me like what they've done is they've kind of roped all their finances into these firms, right? And these firms are cooperating with multiple different representatives. And so whenever things break, like they get the back room news, then they kind of they're a third party investment firm. And so they're using the backroom news to adjust each of the representatives that they are, that are clients of theirs. And then all of a sudden there's plausible deniability in public. I mean, that was like exactly the way it played out whenever they were confronted.
Right. Because it's in a blind trust.
Exactly right.
And so I think it's wrong that they profit. It's 100% wrong. We saw that happen when who's the senator, the Democrat senator from Nevada? They were profiting off of the solar panels from China.
Oh,
his son was in charge of that.
Oh, what's his name? Oh, I can see his face. Harry Reid.
Harry Reid, yeah. It's wrong. You're there as a servant to serve the people. I'm going to be there to serve the people. I have a heart to help people, and I also have a heart for justice. And what is right, and what is wrong is wrong. Am I perfect? Oh, heavens no. Have I made mistakes? All the time. I'm a human. I'm going to make mistakes. But my thing is, number one, I know that this is what God has called me to do. There's no doubt in my mind about that whatsoever. Number two, we have a country that was founded that when I read what these people gave up to start this country, I have a book sitting over here. You guys can't see it because it's not the camera view, but one is called Signing Their Lives Away and the other is called Signing Their Rights Away. And it's about the men who fought and laid it all on the line to break away from Great Britain. And then we look over the centuries of the lives that were lost to fight for freedom. I want to know that this country, that so many people are willing to leave their homeland for, if you think about it, people leave where they were born, their family, their friends, everything they've known to come to the United States because they want that freedom that we have let get taken away from us, like the frog in the pan of water, slowly over time, which is the fascist goal. And we have been busy with our lives. And I want to stop that. I want people to have that freedom, that real freedom that's in our Constitution, to live their lives as free people, to have our own views, thoughts, and opinions, and to respect each other. We don't have to agree, but respect each other's rights to that. Because what other country are people going to go to? Where else are they going to go? People come here for that freedom, and they're astonished when they see what is going on, and it totally breaks my heart. And I honestly cannot imagine living anywhere else in the world because I love this country so much. I love what we have to offer for people. And I'm a fighter. If y'all could have seen me last night, I deleted the video. I was pretty ticked, but I decided to delete it. I've got to double check my YouTube and make sure it's deleted, but I deleted it off of Twitter, deleted it off my Facebook page because it just was not very becoming of a lady.
Well, that's but I do understand, Joe Ray. I understand the frustration, and you're hitting into something that is really big because the media has weaponized the whole conversation about immigration, and they completely make it seem like there's no difference between illegal immigration and immigrants that come here. But, we have a lot of people that follow this show from around the world. And a matter of fact, one good friend that I have out there, Mac, who I met in Arizona, is from Iran. And, his family risked everything to get him safely when he was a child out of there and through Europe. And, I think it was into Switzerland and this whole thing trying to get him to America so that he would be safe from the tyranny of the regime there because of connections with his family and stuff. And, he is beside himself because he's been so thankful and so appreciative that not only to be here and to be free, but of all the people here who have made him feel like an American. He doesn't feel like an out. He's just overwhelmed with joy. And it's so frustrating for people who've went through this process to look around at the people in charge and in roles of government who are attacking exactly what it is that existed that they left. They're acting like they want the rules that are in other parts of the country. And so, I think there's a lot of people in that boat that have really come to understand that the media is completely in the tank for the destruction of America. I mean, the president says the enemy is the media is the enemy of the people, but they really do honestly have the drive and desire to destroy every institution that we hold sacred here in the United States.
Yeah. And my thing has been, look, if you don't like America, leave. We said that in the 60s. America, yep. Love it or leave. It's okay. If you want to live in underneath a socialist regime,
by all means, there's plenty.
I'll help you pack your bags. It's okay. And I will not be offended whatsoever. But this is the land of freedom. We have been that shining light on the hill. This has been, de Tocqueville called us the exceptionalism, right?
Yes.
Why? Because we have that freedom. We have that right to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government. We have the right for a redress, which that's what we were doing on Saturday in Salem. That's what people have been doing around the country, exercising their First Amendment right peaceably to gather and to redress their government for their grievances. We have that legal right to do. The statutes, which AG Barr posted the other day, I've got it right here. Deprivation of rights under color of law. Section 242 of Title 18 makes it a crime for a person acting under the color of any law to willfully deprive a person of a right or privilege protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States. Peaceably to gather. That means that, so President Trump's don't get together in more than 10 people is a
suggestion.
Thank you. It is not a law. It is not a mandate. He's just saying, hey, be careful. 10 is an arbitrary number, kind of like don't have a handgun with more than 10 rounds in it. It's an arbitrary number.
It's an arbitrary that doesn't really mean anything. And to a little bit of what you were saying right there, I was kind of going into on Friday with the aspect of like there is nothing but you and your Constitution as an American. Like that is the document that stands between. So hard to impress this onto people, but that document stands between you and the state. It actually is there to protect you from those that we elect. Like that document is the only thing you have. Now, I'd like to make the argument that if you have a problem with the Constitution, and maybe this sounds a little harsh, but if you have a problem with the Constitution in America, then you're not an American. You have some other allegiance, because our Constitution is the only thing that keeps the state from assaulting us, attacking us, harming us, taking our land, taking our goods and services. Like look what the president has been doing with these large companies and the PPP or the Production Defense Act. He's not like forcing these companies to make like all these ventilators and then give them away. He's setting them up for something that they can produce and sell. I mean, like this is not, what we're talking about is the idea of entrepreneurship. And that I feel like is what our Constitution provides us, is the freedom to be entrepreneurial in whatever capacity makes you happy and feel complete. Like that's our whole government. And the people that stand against your Constitution and say, that it's whatever they call it, a breathing document or a living.
They call it a living, breathing document. And the only thing that is living and breathing about it is that, is that we can add amendments to the Constitution. Right. That's the only part. The rest of it is to be taken exactly as it is meant to be, with the meanings at the time. Somebody asked me yesterday, because on my website, I talk about that I support the Second Amendment exactly as written. She goes, well, that's really vague. So there's those first 4 words, a well-regulated militia. There's so many views on that. Well, well-regulated means that it's working. It's calibrated. It's well-honed. It's prepared to go into service when needed. And the militia was the people, and the writings of our founders, it's very clear what they meant. They were prolific writers. They kept notes. I mean, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have recording devices. They wrote these things down. They knew how important to write down their conversations for posterity's sake was. And so today we can go back and we can look. I have behind me a book called Original Intent by David Barton. And that's talking about the First Amendment, the freedom of religion. So, and that's all based off of source documentation from the founders. So it's important to look back and go, well, what did they mean? And do a little bit of research. I did it yesterday. It was easy.
Yeah.
I just went online to see what did this really mean, so that I could get a grasp. I knew in my head, but trying to put that sometimes into words, when internally it's okay. So let me go out there and do a little bit of more research and kind of put their words into it, because I know that it's meant the people, not the army. The army were the people. They Absolutely. Were the farmers.
So Joe Ray, I noticed that you were endorsed by Oregon Right to Life PAC. That's yes. amazing. Yes. What's your view on what's going on with Planned Parenthood and all of that stuff?
They need to go away. Planned Parenthood was started by Margaret Sanger. She was an eugenist. And so for people that don't understand that, she wanted to annihilate the Black community. And that's why a lot of the Planned Parenthood
Didn't she say extinguish the weeds?
Yep. I do believe that was one of her quotes.
Yep.
So.
And that's not how I feel, folks. And real quick, Joe Ray, I noticed that I was doing research on this, and back in 2012, there were more abortions from the African American community in New York City than there were births.
Wow.
And that was in what year?
Wow.
2012.
So you can imagine what that is now. I mean, that's escalated tremendously.
Well, here's some good news: is the rate of abortions are declining greatly
in the country. Yes, they are
in the country. Yeah, and
shutdown is helping.
my son in March, he goes, wow, there's gonna be a whole lot of babies born in about 9 months.
Yes, there are. The president has created a new baby boom.
There you go.
Whenever, because the big thing that people don't realize, and I think that people miss in this conversation, is if everyone had full value of the dollar. In other words, if we had the buying power as a nation that we had in 1913, before this whole thing started, if we had the buying power of that, people would not even be, the idea of not wanting to have a child wouldn't be on your radar. Like the main reason people freak out is because they can't figure out how to work it into their lives or afford the reality. And so they're completely brainwashed to think that this is some sort of process, like, every other thing that you do out of convenience, and not really understanding the gravity of what it means to not only have a child, but to have another American, right? I mean, it's very valuable. Every person that is alive that is an American is a light, a hope, a candle, a possibility for another voice to stand up for the next generation. Like the Constitution is whatever it is, but if people like all of us don't stand up and speak for it, it means nothing.
That's absolutely right, Shady. You're so right on that. Hey, I want to show you guys just one thing real quick here. This is from Saturday up in Salem. Whoops. There we go.
I see Q.
Look at that. And there was another guy that had a Q t-shirt on. So anyway,
that's awesome.
There was a lot of young people there, a lot of young adults. I guess they would be called millennials. So all age groups were there on Saturday. And so this Great Awakening, it's across age groups, which is so phenomenal. I mean, I talk to people that are in their 80s. And then I'm talking to people that are that are 18. I got a call yesterday from somebody. He's 28 years old. He's not too far from you, Shady, and he does his research. He wants, at 28 years old, he said, I've only gotten to vote a couple times in a presidential election because I'm 28. But he goes, I want to get to know the candidates, and I love it. My phone number is out there, and anybody can call me. And it's okay. I even got a phone call. You guys ready for this? I got a phone call from a Democrat last week, and she wanted to know why I support building the wall. And so I just asked her a simple question. Do you lock the doors to your house or to your cars? And she said, sometimes. And of course, my question is, then why do you lock the doors to your house? And she goes, well, to keep people out. And I said, oh, but it's okay if people that we don't know are coming into our country. She goes, oh, I knew you were going to go there. I knew that. She goes, and I go, hey, I want to know who's coming. About that time, the doorbell rang. And I said, just like somebody's ringing my doorbell, I want to know who I'm allowing into my home. I want to know who's coming into my country, that they're not going to come here to harm. She goes, well, they're not all coming with guns like all of you guys think. You're just not loving people. And it's like, no, I happen to love people. I think people are amazing. I just want to know that you're coming here for the right reasons, not to cause me harm, not to steal, kill, and plunder and destroy. And if you're escaping, and you need asylum, there's an asylum door to come in. Amnesty, there's a door that you can come in. There's a legal way to do it, and we'll help you. But you know what I'd love to see, guys, is I'd love to see ways that we could, without doing nation building, without going in and helping wars or starting wars, help these other countries. And I think President Trump is on the right track. He says America first, and he has said this, and I agree. Every single president, every single leader of a country should want their country to be the best it can be.
Absolutely. And didn't you see something spectacular whenever you saw the president in India right before this whole this whole COVID thing happened? Because we used to have a very special relationship between the United States and India that was subverted, blown up, and destroyed by the cabal in the White House in the last 25 years. And so just to see that emotion, that you could tell by the people there in India that they could feel that we as the Americans had their back, which is what we would like to portray to every other country that attempts to stand up to this, because I think they're all going to stand up. I think the whole EU, the globalist cabal, everybody wants their culture, and everybody wants their people, but we want people to come and visit us, and we want to be able to go places. Yeah. We don't want to all be like, the McDonald's on every corner all around the world. We want the culture to be as it evolves in its own nature, without the disruption of militaristic minded men who do backroom deals and do it on the backs of what they call the American people. And then everybody blames America for these people's deeds. This goes back to the Civil War and what we did to the Indians. Everybody wants to blame, there's this group of people that are, and what you were saying is perfect about the younger crowd, but there's a group of people that are in between me and them, the 25-year-olds that were 16, 15, 12, 20, 18 years old when 9/11 happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that group of people are largely concentrated on Facebook and Twitter and social media. They really don't go outside for information of these platforms. They depend on them 100% because they got pulled into them right after that whole thing happened. So there's a little bit of a loss in that generation, but the younger generation, I am noticing, are full-fledged, like standing up. America, you got to be kidding me. What are you people talking about? They didn't even teach me the Constitution in school, and I believe in it and stand here to defend it. That is really out there, and it's real. And I have a really big piece, a really big inspiration to see that our next generation is going to pick up arms, and they are going to stand and protect our country and our borders. And if called to fight for us, they will.
Absolutely. There's the people that go, well, I'm a citizen of the world. Well, that's fine. You can be a citizen of the world. But at the same time, if you're going to be a citizen of the country, of this country and the state that you live in, I know there's controversy of all that, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit trail. Respect our laws. And again, I go back to, if you want to live in a socialist country, it's allowed. You can live in a socialist country. If they'll take you, it's okay. So you guys remember Eldridge Cleaver, the Black Panther leader?
Yes.
Okay. And that mantra, which I mentioned a while ago, America, love it or leave it. He left. He went to Cuba. And he came back. And Eldridge Cleaver said, I was wrong. America is the greatest country that there is on earth. He has passed away, and it's a bummer.
Wow.
But it's like, wow. But that isn't out there. You have to search to find that information. Somebody told me about it. I went and did the research to make sure that, this was said, because I don't accidentally saying stuff that's, a myth. But that's true. And so I think we all know here, we're red pilled. We've seen the Q drops. We've seen the stuff about the PEDO and the trafficking going on. We've seen all that, and we know how deep and how dark and how vile and how evil it is. And they want to stop President Trump at any means possible. And anybody that gets hurt in between, we're collateral damage. They don't really care because they want to be in control and they want to continue to do what it is that they've been doing, which is so debased. And there's those of us who are willing to not be a little light, but to be a huge spotlight and to call it out and say, look, you don't get to get away with this. You don't get to get away with harming children. Jesus says, do not, don't harm the little ones because they're going to face the wrath. That's my translation. But kids are amazing. I love kids. I love watching kids. They're so phenomenal. But when I see my little 6-year-old grandson here, and he is talking about the coronavirus, about the virus grandma, he's 6 years old. Oh. Come on. He's a little guy. Let him be a child.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to freak out my grandson? He is so adorable and so loving. Oh. And the wonder in his eyes, I love it. I absolutely love it. He's like my little mini me. I have a picture of him and me at 3 years old, and we look the same. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I asked when he was 3 years old, I go, who's this, Mappy? He goes, that's Mappy. I go, no, that's Grandma.
So cute. And that's why awesome. We fight. That's why I fight, Joe Ray, for the children.
Yeah. For the children.
And there's two ways to control people. There's fear. Oh my God, I'm afraid. And love. And, for lack of a better term, using that word control. But I choose the latter,
Yep.
Love one another.
Yeah. Love wins. And I love that President Trump gives hope. I love that he's looking at the positive side. I even love that when he's getting ready to fire somebody, he goes, they're a great person. They're really, I like them. They're good people. It's just they're not the right fit. Yes. Goodbye. And that, friends, that's okay. I've been fired for more than one job. It wasn't the right fit. It's okay. You learn. You go, well, this was not the right fit for me. I'll go on to something else. And sometimes God has to pull you out of a situation to preserve you. You never know. So I love our country. That's the bottom line. I'm going to fight in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to fight so that your constitutional rights are protected. We cannot allow tyranny to come into this nation. And until Jesus comes again, and as long as God keeps his hand on our nation, I'm going to be there to fight as much as I can.
You got a lot of people out there, not just in the Q community, but in the state of Oregon, who are going to fight with you and for you. And as we start to come together as a nation again and talk about what really matters to us, not just in politics, but in our whole atmosphere of communicating about this stuff, there's going to be so many people that come to this conversation, even in the future, even in the next 6 months, with all the stuff that happens that aren't with us right now. We got 6 months till the election in November, and there's a ton of people that are going to see corruption in the next 6 months, and their minds are going to wake up. A lot of minds woke up with the Out of Shadows movie. Like, a lot of minds are going to wake up with all of this corruption that gets exposed. And, as we're all seeing this, we're going to have new voices, and everyone. The whole idea of America is inspiration. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be feeding off of other people's amazing accomplishments, allowing that to inspire us, and then using that inspiration as energy to manifest and be entrepreneurs and create on our own individually as we wish to develop and grow. And so, if we get this, this next 6 months of a lot of the heaping trash, the sticky swamp out of government, and then, we come back around to like implementing things like term limits and implementing things like transparency, for where and who, and get the lobbyists out of DC. Like all of these different things are paramount to us getting our country back. But I see an amazing push for it. And I think that, I think you're going to have a lot of people, Joe Ray, that are from the left, even out here in Oregon, that by the time election day comes around, that there's going to be a massive amount of support from all angles of the political spectrum.
Yeah, I thank you, Shady. I think so. A lot of people ask me, what's my strategy to win in November? And well, one, I don't give my playbook any more than the 49ers give it to the Seattle Seahawks. Just kind of a thing I have.
Good idea.
Yeah, kind of crazy. But we have way more in common with those on the other side of the proverbial aisle than what people realize. We all want to, well, the vast majority of us want to love and be loved. We want to be able to provide for our families. We want a roof over our heads. We want to feel safe. And for most of us, we want to keep the government as much as possible out of our day-to-day lives. And we want to be able to go to work, whatever endeavor that it is, and whether that is just to go to work and then come home and hang out with the family, or go build some big company where you employ a lot of people, or be an entrepreneur. If that is somebody's definition of success, that's what we want to be able to do here in America. We have a pioneering spirit. That's how this nation was born. That is what God put in this country, was to have that pioneering spirit. And that crosses all ethnicities, male, female, it's across the board. And we can build together, and we can get through all of this. And I'm 100% convinced of that. There's going to be some growing pains. We're going through them right now. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that even as frustrated as I am with the shutdown, and I want people go back to work, go open up. I was hopeful, and I said this, and apparently I wasn't right, that President Trump was going to flip the switch and say go and do those arrests that we've all been waiting for. Being how we're all somewhat sequestered, not in big groups, and apparently the judges aren't in place, so he can't do that because Mitch McConnell and the senators aren't doing their job, and that frustrates me. But we're going to come out of this on the other side, and I'm looking forward to seeing the monetary change and how that's going to blow people's minds. It's going to be kind of fun to watch when they realize what just happened, and I'm very hopeful, very, very hopeful of where our country is going, and yeah.
Well,
Amen
Janine,
to that.
If Joe Ray wins, I'm going to Oregon.
There you go.
What was that? Somebody said what?
If Joe Ray wins, they're going to Oregon.
Awesome. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Janine. I appreciate that. Are there any other questions out there?
Well, there's a few other questions. A couple of people were asking questions about, your stance on, like, let's see, what one of them was on voter ID was a question that someone had to ask, and see like where you stood on that. I assumed you were fine with us identifying voters.
Well, yeah, I think voter ID is necessary. In Oregon, though, we have a bit of a challenge. I'm looking for the rest of the ballot here. Here we go. Because in Oregon, we vote by mail.
All of it.
Right.
All of it. So, you can take it you can go to the courthouse and stand there and vote, fill out your ballot in the little box, and you can go and pick up a ballot. If you messed up your ballot, they'll give you a new one. But it goes in the mail, and you don't even have to pay for a stamp this time, which actually I kind of like. But I also knew that was going to mean ballots were going to go back a lot faster this time, because people weren't going to have to go, oh shoot, I got to go get a stamp.
But we also,
it is what it is.
also have the reports that were coming out. I think they said that since, what was it, Matrix? Wasn't it like something like since 2012, they've lost 28 million ballots in the mail that they tell us something?
Yeah, there's a lot of ballots missing. You see them like in Florida. There was a truck crash, and they were all over the turnpike. I mean,
oh wow,
yeah,
wow,
convenient.
Yeah, very very convenient.
It's coming from a red district.
There's got to be some sort of voter ID. I mean, you have to have a driver's license to drive. Why can't you have a driver's license to vote?
Guys, I got to show my ID when I pick up my ream of paper that I order from Staples.
There you go. See?
I mean, hello. Well, we want to make sure nobody else picks up.
But you can take that ream of paper and convert them all into votes and go vote. Not you, but people. I have a feeling a lot of that is being tackled, behind the scenes, and we shall see. I think much fair voting. The voter rolls are getting cleaned up in California. I have a feeling California is going to turn red, Shady.
Oh, I think you're right. Especially what this governor has done out here. I mean, yesterday he had helicopters flying the line of the beaches, telling everybody that they can't walk out on the beach. People aren't going to take this, man. I mean, they're just really not going to take it, and it's working. I mean, from my perspective, I think the plan is working perfect because we're exposing them, and we are causing regular, center-minded, apolitical people that are looking around themselves. They're going to be like, what in the heck are you talking about? This was the flu. There's 12 people dead in my state, and you're closing down the whole state. People are going to wake up, and they're going to get mad.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that, Shady.
Yes, sir.
People are mad. It's and I see a lot of people that were liberals coming my way. I've got a lot of friends that are saying, hey, what's Q to me? And it's amazing. I went to Martin County, Florida. I went to one of their open up Martin County, and there was about 4 people that knew who Q was. There's about 85 people there. We've only had 5 deaths, maybe 6 now, but that's it. And in 2007, we had 5 deaths from the flu, and we're not walking around with masks. It's just insane what's happening right now. Let me go ahead and take back the screen here. I want to show you something here. This is a tweet by, let me just make sure I can grab the screen, go over to Windows. Hang on one second. Windows capture. And I want to show you guys a couple things before we head on out of here. And if we'll finish up, don't worry, guys. We can still ask Joe Ray some questions, but I wanted to show you some things here real quick. Boom, right here, I believe. Here it is. Okay, so this is Sun Tzu tweeted this from Young Americans for Liberty. Let's check this out.
You in the blue shirt with the shorts, keep your hands up.
Where is it?
You with the hat, green shirt, pick your hands up, I can't see them.
Look at them, guns drawn.
Are you kidding me? The news is there?
Yeah, the news is there.
Get back! Media guy in a white shirt, get back!
So this is a SWAT team with guns drawn raided a peaceful protest at Big Daddy Zane's in West Odessa, Texas. The bar owner reopened because he says all businesses are essential.
Wow.
And what you're seeing there is the sheriff's department.
Yes.
Attacking the people. The sheriff is attacking the people. That is an elected official in that county in Texas. So if you are there or near there, you need to be making people quite aware that that sheriff needs to go come November.
Absolutely.
Well, how about before November? I'm going back to this United States Department of Justice, that AG bar drop, deprivation of rights under the color of law.
Well, that's what you got to do personally. If you're involved in that, or some people that are involved, they need to know the people who have done this, like not the organization, the sheriff's department, but you need badge numbers, and then you need to the Justice Department, and you need to file lawsuits directly against those people personally, not as their job, as their person, because they are the person trying to deprive you of your rights.
That's right. And let's also let's look at our president today. The Democrats want us to fail so they can win the election that they can't win. Hang on, here we go.
But the House, I will tell you, the House, they should be ashamed of themselves. And frankly, the Democrats should be ashamed, because they don't want us to succeed. They want us to fail so they can win an election, which they're not going to win.
Yeah, they like buffering us. Hang on.
Yeah, which they're not going to win.
Which they're not going to win. Buffer it. Here we go. Let's try it again.
Redo.
But they want us, think of it, they do everything they can to make things as bad as possible. And right now the stock market's way up. Everybody's excited. They're going back to work safely, but they're going back to work. We're opening up our country again. And this is what we're doing. And I'll tell you, the whole world is excited watching us because we're leading the world.
The world is watching.
And what happened should never, ever have happened. China should have informed us that they had a problem.
Boom. And let's go back to the part that they wouldn't let us hear. Hang on, let's see if we can do it.
They want us to succeed. They want us to fail. So
look at
Right as he says, we're going.
let's just let me refresh that real quick. That's hilarious, guys. What do you think of that?
I think it's another coincidence, right?
No, it's not a coincidence. Come on, Shady. Don't be such a conspiracy theorist.
It looks like Brennan and Clapper are the conspiracy guys.
Right? My gosh.
Clapper and Comey.
I'm so sorry for the scroll, guys, but here we go. Right here.
Tell you, the House, they should be ashamed of themselves. And frankly, the Democrats should be ashamed because they don't want us to succeed. They want us to fail so they can win an election, which they're not going to win.
Boom.
But they want us, think of it, they do everything they can to make things as bad as possible. And right now, the stock market's way up. Everybody's excited. They're going back to work safely, but they're going back to work. We're opening up our country again. And this is what we're doing. And I'll tell you, the whole world is excited watching us because we're leading the world. And what happened should never, ever have happened.
That guy's amazing. And let's see this next one here.
But I'll tell you where there's no great win one way or the other, but I'll tell you where there is a win. We're going to build a country. I did it once. 2 months ago, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world, the best employment numbers we've ever had in history, right? I mean, everybody agrees. Even CNN agrees with that one. But I will say this, we're going to do it again, and that's what we're starting. And I view these last couple of days as the beginning. We're going to build the greatest economy in the world again, and it's going to happen pretty fast.
And, you know, this is your boom week ahead, guys.
Love it.
That's right. Wow. Joe Ray, amazing time with you today.
How fun is that, guys? Getting to hang out with a future senator who's reading Q-Post and talking to you straight, not in or whatever you want to call these things that politicians talking, but talking.
Newspeak, 1984 Newspeak, right?
Talk or whatever.
Right.
Like,
so this is Joe Ray Perkins. It's Perkins for US Sen on Twitter.
Yeah, and this video that y'all see right here is going to go away as soon as I go over to my YouTube channel and delete it because
better go watch it. She's ranting.
Better hurry it. Anons are saving it.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Also, don't forget to cruise over to Perkins for Senate. I believe it's perkinsforsenate.vote.
U.S. Senate.
Yep, U.S. Senate. Excuse me. Perkins for U.S. Senate.vote. Mods will be dropping the link. And don't forget to hit this donate button right here. And don't forget to maybe do that magic number right there, Q, to help her out.
I was going to put a 45 in there, but.
Well, maybe you oughta.
Maybe you oughta.
Maybe you oughta.
Yeah, I just have to go in there and do it. So I love our state motto, by the way.
Yep.
Which is on that page.
Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry. There we go.
That's okay. On the donate page.
On the donate page. You got it. Here we go.
The state motto, she flies with her own wings.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that because I'm not a yes person. I'm a really? Let's check it out person.
Right.
Let's verify. Right. And I
trust but verify. Ask questions, and that's okay. I used to be called a conspiracy theorist for asking questions, right? Now we're conspiracy therapists.
I love that. Me with the word truther.
Truther. Yeah, right? I mean, okay, I'd rather be a liar. You got me.
I'll wear that one.
I'll wear a truther, you know, especially when I knew about 70 people that died that day. Hell yeah, I'm a truther. And I want justice, equal justice under the law. Yeah.
70 people? Oh my gosh.
I gave up counting. Yep. Yeah, it was amazing. My friend too, the closest one was my neighbor 2 doors down. He worked at the Chrysler building and he was going to retire and open up his business in Queens. Before he left, they wanted him to train somebody at oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it's at the top of the trade center. The company was, oh my gosh, spacing it out. But anyways, he was training the chef there, and then that was Tuesday, and that following Monday he would have been opening up his new restaurant and left 2 beautiful daughters.
Wow. Was that Sbarro's?
No. It's a restaurant at the top, the Windows of the World. That's what it was. Yep.
Okay.
Because they're all outsourced, so he was a manager, but he was quitting and retiring and going to open up his dream job. 2 beautiful girls were left, and it was probably one of the most saddest things. Sunday, I was coming in with groceries, and we're going to do a barbecue, and he's like, "What do you got there?" He goes, "I hope we got beer." I'm going, "Yep, come on over, Frank." And by the way, there's a piece of metal in almost every city and county. And you can probably go find his name, Frank Sudoka. So God bless him. Yep. And then I knew a lot of people because, I sold Cisco systems. So we went there and helped Goldman Sachs relocate throughout the city. I mean, it was pretty intense, guys. Not fun, let me tell you. And I want answers. I have questions. So, yeah.
We're going to get louder.
We're going to get louder. Get loud, get proud, guys. And Shady, any final words with Joe Ray here?
Well, I would just like to thank her for spending the time with us and taking the time for us, and also for speaking up for her country and for the president, for you guys, and for Q. There's very few people out there who are speaking up for the people, for the president, and for Q. And Joe Ray is one of them. And it is an honor and a pleasure to know you, Joe Ray, and to be friends with you, and to see you go through this journey, and to support you, and really hope that we can work this out where we can get you elected, because, man, we need so many people like you in our Congress. And
thank you.
So I just really, I can't thank you enough for joining us.
Oh, my honor.
It's an open invitation. Anytime you want to come in and jump on and talk about it, you hit us up and right in here.
Send you a note. So if anybody wants to volunteer, I'm looking for people to make some phone calls. They can go to the volunteer page right there and volunteer away, and just send your information, and it'll go off to Becky, and Becky will get a hold of you. If you want a yard sign, send me an email, and if you drop it on the chat, I'm not going to see it, so there's too much chat on there on today's YouTube channel. So just drop me an email or text me. My phone number's there, or call me. And I will, if you're not near Albany, I will send you a sign in the mail. I've got a few left. There's some outside of Eugene in Lane County. There's some down in Roseburg that you can pick up. So there you go. And that's my Miss Daisy. We lost Daisy too on April 17th, I think is the date that we lost Daisy too. Wow. Daisy no, it was April 16th. Daisy 2 got totaled. She got rear-ended.
Oh no.
Yeah. My grandson took her for a drive. I said, yeah, go ahead, you can take her. And his friend's brakes went out on his friend's Jeep, and 2 vehicles got totaled. Praise God. The kids they're injured, but they're okay. They've got some neck and back injury.
You're gonna have to get a replacement.
Yeah.
We're looking at Daisy 2.1.
There you go, 2.0. And Joe Ray, thank you very much. I really love this quote that is on your main page here. Why don't you go ahead and say that, because I love that.
I will count it an honor to be your voice, your senator in Washington, D.C.
And that goes out to all the Oregonians and all the people that love liberty nationwide, because we need more red than we need blue. Right? Is that right? Did I do that right?
Lots more red than
Lots more red.
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh my gosh, Joe Ray.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Shady. Thanks for getting her today for us. We're going to end this show with our For the Republic. You guys ready? Are you guys ready? Are you guys? And she's fighting for this republic. And remember, this is a government for the people, by the people, of the people. Yep. And Joe Ray fits that 100%. Joe Ray, God bless you and good luck. And here we go.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
Oh, no. Did it not come up? Okay, wait. Stand by 1 second. We have to go one more place here. My apologies, guys. We will go over here. I'm sorry, guys. Let me get the video, guys. For some reason, it goofed up. because I didn't reattach it to Discord. So anyways, or not Discord, but what is it called? OBS. So we're just going to go out with the regular. How about silent running? I think I fixed it. Let's just go out. Catch you later. God bless you guys, but we stand for the flag.
Have an amazing day.
Thank you, Joe Ray. Thank you, Shady. Thank you, everybody out there in YouTube.
Shady.
The beautiful, wonderful mods. Thank you for dropping the questions. There were so many. We didn't get them all. But God bless you guys. See you tomorrow.